Hey guys, it's Laurel. I hope you can hear me okay. I recorded this video because I'm walking randomly in the middle of some streets of Tampa, like a couple miles away from my house. And the reason I recorded this video is because I failed big time, and I want to talk about that. So I'm actually walking because I got really mad at my husband and I jumped out of the car and I was like, I'm walking, I'm leaving behind. And I just had a major, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Amygdala Hijack, but I had one of those. And incidentally, I slept in through my meditation this morning. And usually when I sleep in through them, I do meditate every day, but I'll do it later in the day. Well, my husband and I think that we know that we were exposed to somebody who had COVID. So we went to a COVID testing center that's supposed to be a rapid testing, and of course it wasn't. We waited and waited, and they don't have any ticket systems. It's supposed to be first come first serve, but the phone's down, it's not working. So I'm already frustrated because of that. So we're like, screw it, we're just gonna schedule a test somewhere else. So that happened. And then at the end of it, I'm like, well, let's at least go get some coffee somewhere. Let's go to Starbucks. I don't normally even drink coffee, but I was like, dang it, I don't care. I want something. So, because we had waited an hour of our morning, we canceled all our weekend plans, and I was like, I'm gonna get some coffee. So we're in our car, we're pulling in the Starbucks, and there's a person near me, in front of me. There's two different streams of cars going into one line. And so usually the way I do it, I've always been of the mind of the sort of the zipper method. Each other person lets the other person go. That's just decent courtesy. And I'm feeling all zen. There's somebody, we got there at the same time. I'm like, yeah, you can go ahead. So I let him in. I wave him in. The woman behind him, however, she decides that she's gonna get to go anyway too. And I don't know why, guys. It just set me off. And I guess because I felt like she was denying me the courtesy that I had granted the other person, right? I'm just gonna be real with you guys. I rolled down the window. My poor husband has his headphones on. He's trying to talk to a client. And the weird thing is, I understand now why Dr. Joe calls it going unconscious, because I went super unconscious. David was on the phone with his client, and I roll down the window. I look at this lady, and she rolls down hers, and I was like, what is your problem? I just let this guy in front of me. Why? What the hell? It was the most petty thing in the world, but I just had, and then my husband, the whole time, my husband's grabbing my arm and he's shaking me. He's like, shh, 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 he's on the phone. And finally, poor guy, he had to get off the phone because he was like, I'm so sorry. He's like, my wife's having a fight at Starbucks right now. I'll call you back, sir. So he had to get off the phone. And then after that, I pulled the car over and I was like, I just walked into Starbucks and I was like, I'm just gonna get my coffee. I'm gonna walk in and get it. So I went in to get my coffee, and then I didn't have any cash because I don't have any money on my card. We've been broke for a while. And then I didn't have any cash on hand. That made me feel even more angry. Just I felt very, I hate feeling confined because of money. And that's been the past 3 months. So that kind of set me off. I was really angry. Then I went back to the car, and my husband, who is understandably angry, was super livid with me. He was like, oh my God, he didn't have shoes on. So I get in the car, I'm like, babe, I don't have any cash, let's go. He decides, because he likes to do this, he decides he's gonna do his thing. He decides he's gonna go buy me the dang coffee. So he gets out of the car, he has no shoes on, he's completely barefoot, and he starts walking into Starbucks. And we're in front of all these cars, you guys, and I'm shouting at him. It was horrible. It was the most epic fail. I'm shouting at him, and I'm like, babe, what are you doing? I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you going in that Starbucks? Blah, blah, blah. And he's marching into Starbucks without any shoes on. He's putting on his flip-flops. He's gonna get me that coffee. And I was just like, I'm leaving you right now. In front of everybody. I was like, here, take the key. So I followed him inside. I gave him the key. And then I just left and started walking randomly. And part of it, I look back at it now, it's kind of hilarious. I probably would have laughed if I was watching us. I look back on it now, and I heard a lesson from Dr. Dispenza last night, and I'm actually grateful kind of that it happened, because he said when he would teach his kids how to I'm an infant with this, right? But when he would teach his kids how to better handle situations, he would have them rehearse the situation. So if there's a situation they didn't handle well, much like this one, he would have them say, rehearse it in your head, and then ask yourself, how would I do it differently? And they would think about it, and then they'd say, and sometimes they couldn't come up with the answer, and he'd guide them. He'd be like, well, what about this? And they'd say, yeah, I'd do that. And he'd say, okay, now rehearse it again. They'd rehearse it again. And then like later on in the day, he'd say, okay, rehearse it. And they'd say, Dad, I don't want to do it. And he'd say, no, rehearse it again. They'd do it again. And so like I kind of walked, and I turned my phone off so my husband couldn't find me. But I kind of walked, and it's actually a beautiful day, which is kind of a way of going into the unknown, because I don't know this neighborhood. I've never walked over here. It's going to take me like an hour to get home. I've never walked this far on foot, like in Tampa. But anyways, it made me kind of have like a moment of, I guess, purgatory to reflect on my actions, and not to like punish myself per se, but just to remove myself from the situations and really think about how I behaved. And actually, part of the reason I made this walk is because I'm embarrassed as hell by how I treated that woman, and like I should not be behaving that way. And like this is a video full disclosure, and I don't really know. It could be a number of things. It could be the elections. It could be the fact that we're waiting on this COVID test. It could be that I didn't sleep well last night. It could be a number of things. But like for whatever reason, I behaved really poorly, and I should not be behaving that way. Not a question of guilt or good or bad, that it's just I shouldn't ever let any situation sink my energy like that, and I shouldn't treat other people that way. So yeah, I am taking this moment to reflect, and as I was reflecting to myself, I thought, well, let me just go ahead and make a video. Let me confess, because this video log is supposed to be the entire story of my transformation, and I'm confident that transformation will come, but it's gonna come with ups and downs. And like maybe some people it's more of a straight line, but I feel like my line is kind of jagged, and like I feel better now, and I feel better sort of walking into the unknown and having some peace, and some reflection time, and I also have rehearsed it enough that I do know what I would do differently, and what that answer is I wouldn't have matched her pettiness with pettiness. I would have risen above her pettiness, just parked the car, ignored her, and gone inside, right? And I feel like me most of the time would do that, but for whatever reason I didn't do it today. And I also think another moral of the story is that doing your meditations in the morning is important. And like I said, I do them every day, but some days I sleep in a little, I do them in the afternoon. And when I do them in the morning, by far, I feel like it really sets the tone for my day, and it's a really important sort of precedent to set on your day. So anyway, we fall, but we come back up. We reflect, and we remain intentional, and we keep doing the work. And I appreciate you guys watching this video.